Hello dear Cut and Sew Tribe, you are welcome to Cut and Sew Tribe YouTube channel. Thank you guys for stopping by. To all our returning subscribers, you are the best. Thank you for your support. Today we are going to learn how to recreate this beautiful top. It is cow neck top and the sleeve is long sleeve, as you can see. So at the back of this top there is no zipper. I'm going to show you how you can achieve that effortlessly. So if this looks like what you want to learn, let's get into it in detail. For the required materials, you're going to need your drafting tools, and I'll be working with a very light crepe fabric of a yard and half. So my pattern paper, I have a line drawn out, and that is going to serve as my starting point. So I'll go ahead now and put down all my vertical lines from shoulder to bust line, from shoulder to bust point, from shoulder to waist, and the full length of this top is 22 inches. So I've drawn out all my vertical lines. So the next thing I will do now is to go ahead and input my shoulder measurement. Whatever your shoulder measurement is, just divide it into 2. In my own case, my shoulder is 15 into 2 gave me 7.5, and I put it down. So you are going to take it all the way to the bust line as seen, and you draw a straight line to connect the 2 points together. So this line is going to serve as your armhole depth. Now we are working on the back block first, so we are going to use this to cut our front block. Like I said, this dress is without zipper, and because of that I made use of 3.5 for my neck width, and I used 1.5 for the neck depth. I'm going to connect the two together. Can you see it? So I will just connect the two together as seen, and this is going to serve as my back neckline. So on the shoulder slope, I came down by 1 inch and I connected it back to my neck tip. So now you go ahead and get your armhole curve by dividing your armhole depth into 2 equal halves. Can you see it? So on that point, you don't need to go in by 0.5 as we used to do, because you know this is a free top. So on your bust line, just go ahead and input your bust circumference divided by 4. So you need to add ease of ½ inch to this. You know there is no zipper at the back of this dress, so you need to create room for ease of wearing. So I added ½ inch to my bust circumference divided by 4. So that point now I'm going to connect it with my curve to the mid armhole as seen. So this is going to be my armhole curve. So I'll go ahead to my waist measurement. Your waist divided by 4, you are going to put it down and put ease of ½ inch. So you put ease of ½ inch like so, and on your hip as well, whatever the hem of your blouse is, divide it into 4 and add ease of ½ inch. Do you get it now? So all these points, go ahead and connect them together with your ruler as seen. So this is going to serve as our back block. So for you to eliminate the sharp point on the side of your dress, you can just go up by at least ½ inch. You can use 1 inch, but I used ½ inch in my home case. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out so that we can transfer it on the fabric. So this is it. I've cut it out. This is going to serve as our back block. So I'll go ahead now and fold my fabric. Can you see it? And I will add all the necessary seam allowance before cutting it out. On the shoulder I added ½ inch. On the armhole I added ½ inch as well. Can you see it? So for the side seam allowance, 1 inch is okay, but you can feel free to add any seam allowance of your choice. But I added 1 inch in my own case. So on the hem I added 1 inch. So I'll connect all these points together as seen, and I will go ahead and cut it out. Before we now slash this pattern on our fabric, to achieve the cowl neckline for the front. So this is what we have. I'm going to remove it now so that we can use it to achieve our cowl neckline for the front. So to achieve your cowl neckline, we are going to use slash and spread method. So I'll be cutting on my bust line. Can you see it? I'll cut it all the way to the side, but make sure you don't cut it through. Do you get it now? So I'll slash it open as seen, and I'm going to place it on my fabric. I'm going to spread it as seen on my fabric. I'm going to show you how to go about it. So I'm going to fold my fabric into two. Can you see it? So you fold your fabric into two like this, and you're going to place your pattern on it. Now to achieve the moderate neckline, the cowl neckline, the one that will not be revealing your cleavage, just like the way we have it on the thumbnail, I advise you spread this just by 6 inches. 6 inches, between 6 or 6.5 inches is okay. But if you want your cowl neck to drop more than the one we have on the thumbnail, you can use between 8 to 10 inches. Do you get it now? But if you use that much, that means your cowl neck will drop very well, and it means you may need to wear camisole under it. Do you get my point now? But if you want it moderately like this, 6 inches is just okay. So I spread it by 6 inches and I pin it down. Can you see it? So the next thing you're going to do that is very important is you are going to place your straight ruler like this. So from the tip of your shoulder slope, you are going to look for a way of blending it to achieve a straight line there. Can you see it? So just make sure you blend it together. So and go ahead and add all your seam allowance just the way we added it to the back block. So on the shoulder I added 1/2 inch, armhole 1/2 inch, and for the side seam I added 1 inch. Can you see it? So for the hem as well I added 1 inch. So I will connect all these points together before cutting out our fabric. Can you see it? So make sure you pin it down so that it can be convenient for you to cut. So while cutting, you make sure you note your shoulder slope. That part is very important. You note it so that by the time you want to join the front and the back together, you will easily identify it. Is very, very important. So you can notch that part. I'll go ahead now and cut out this so that we can proceed to the sleeve. So make sure you notch this part. The neck tip is very important. So this is what you should do. I have it like this. I'm going to remove my pattern, and this is what your front block will look like. Can you see the cowl neck effect? So if you open it, this is what you will have. So I'm going to fold it back now. I'll still fold it back because I need to cut facing for this. So I'm going to place the front on another folded fabric, and I'm going to trace it. I will just trace the upper part up to the armhole area to cut my facing. So I've done this. Can you see it? I follow the shape of the neckline and I cut it all the way to a little bit below the armhole. So I have the back as well, and I've cut the facing, just small piece for the facing of the back. Now this is the leftover fabric. I'll go ahead and fold it into 4 because I'll be cutting my 2 sleeves together. So I'll just go ahead and fold it and arrange it properly. So this is me folding it into 4 like this. Can you see it? So for my sleeve length, the length of this my sleeve is 22, but I added extra 2 inches so that the curvy effect on the wrist of the sleeve can show. So 22 inches plus 2 gave me 24 inches. So I'll measure it like this. Can you see it? And I'm going to draw a straight line just to serve as the starting point. So this is going to be my starting point. Now from the starting point, I came down by 4 inches for my cap height. So I measured the 4 inches across like this. Can you see it? So on this cap height, I measured my armhole circumference. Do you get it now? Divided by 2, whatever it is on your own, just measure it there. So from that point now, I'm going to connect it to the starting point. Can you see it? So just connect it to the starting point like so. Can you see? Just draw this slant line like that. And on that line now, I'm going to measure whatever you have there. Just divide it into 2 equal halves, get the midpoint and mark. So on that, you are going to place your cuff like I am placing it. This is just to help you get accurate armhole cuff. You know, on the sleeve we don't have pleats there. Do you get it? There are no pleatings on the sleeve. So just blend it together like this, and like this you are going to get accurate armhole. Now for the wrist of your sleeve, this totally depends on how full you want it to be. So you can use at least ×2 of your wrist circumference. If you want it bigger, you can use ×3, but in my own case I used ×2. Do you get it now? My actual wrist measurement is 8, so 8 × 2 will give me 16. But mind you, this is still on fold, so that 16 you're going to divide it into 2, which is still going to give me 8 because the fabric is on fold. So I connected it like so. So you go ahead and connect it to the armhole. Can you see it? So just connect it together. So this is our sleeve, and you can just go ahead and add the seam allowance. So I just added 1 inch because this is already free. So I'll go ahead now and cut out my sleeve. So this is my sleeve. Can you see it? I've cut the two together, and this is what we have. So it's time to join all our pieces together. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'll take my front, both the front and the back. We are going to work on the neck line. So the front block first, I'll place it down right side of the body is facing right side of the facing. Can you see it? So you are going to sew it by ½ inch from the notch we put on it, from one notch to another. So you just sew it down to finish up the neckline. So you are going to do the same thing for the back. Right side of your facing will be facing the right side of the back block, and you are going to sew it down. So this is what we have. I've sewn it down and I've finished up the edge. Can you see it? I've even gone ahead to iron it down. Very neat like that. So the next thing I want to do to the back is I will take it back to the ironing table and just add my hemming gum just to secure that part. Now for the sleeve, so you need to gather your sleeve to your wrist, to your actual wrist measurement, and add your sewing allowance to it. In my own case, I have about 10 inches after gathering it, and I cut this little piece of 1.5 inch. So you are going to place it from the wrong side and you sew it down using ½ inch. Can you see it? So after sewing it down like that, you are going to flip it over to the right side and you just fold it carefully to finish that part. So you are going to have something like this. I hope you get it, just to finish up the hem. And if you wish, you can use elastic for that part. So this is it. I have gone ahead to finish up the back neckline, and the sleeve I've gone ahead to finish it. So now the next thing we want to do is to join our blocks together. So right side of the front will be facing right side of the back. Can you see it? And you are going to pull, the front is wider than the back, so just try and locate the shoulder area of the front, and you just wrap it together like this. You are going to use the facing of the front to wrap the shoulder of the back, and you sew it down using your seam allowance. Now for the sleeve, I want to finish it using French seam finishing. Do you get it now? So now I am folding it to the right side. I'm going to sew it down using 1/4 of an inch. Just right side, I'll fold it like this and sew it down using 1/4 of an inch. So this is it. I've joined the shoulder. Can you see it? I've secured it and everything is neat on the shoulder. So I want to finish the inside of this top as well using French seam finishing. So you are going to do the same thing you did to the sleeve. You can see I have turned it outside to the right side. So can you see what I did to the sleeve? Right side, I turn it to the right side, so I'm going to turn it in back. So now I will now take it to the sewing machine back to go and input my seam allowance, and I will sew it down. So this is what we call French inseam finishing. Can you see? So the same method that I use on the sleeve is what I want to use on the bodies. Can you see it? This is what you should have. Both inside and outside will be very neat. So back to the front, right side, I'll turn it to the right side. I'll place it down like this. Can you see it? And I'm going to sew it down just using 1/4 of an inch. Can you see it? I'll sew it down like that. So this is it. Can you see it? So I will now turn it inside to finish it up. So if you don't want to use this method, you can just shape your dress, shape it normally and use your serger to finish it off. But this is very good for those who don't have interlocking machine. So I'll go ahead now and shape it to achieve my neat finishing. And I'll fix my sleeve. I will finish up the hem and I will display it on the mannequin for you to see the final outlook of this top. So this is the final outlook. Can you see how neat and beautiful it is? If you find this tutorial helpful, kindly give us thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting tutorial. Till I come your way next, keep practicing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.